Wish TV is proud to honor teachers in Central Indiana.
She is an inspiration to all of us.
He's always smiling.
Who go above and beyond.
He's done so many things for so many people.
He's inspirational.
Making a difference.
He's always taught me to believe in myself and never get down on myself.
Everybody's biggest cheerleader.
And deserving of recognition for their outstanding efforts in education.
I love the people that I work with. And to know that I've made an impact on somebody's life, it is truly a great honor.
It's an honor. I love what I do, and the kids are the ones who make it work. I'm like just so taken aback because I love them so much. The fact that, they love me just as much just means a lot. Sorry, you're going to have to cut that part out.
And you are our winner.
Oh, thank you so much.
From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Golden Apple Awards podcast.
Hey everyone, Hannah Mordeau here. This month's Golden Apple Award winner is Mr. Sean Davis. Everyone says he's Westfield famous. That's because he uses his media skills to motivate students across the district. So his students and fellow staff said it was time for him to be the star. That's why they nominated him, and we went to surprise him with the Golden Apple Award. That surprise, though, it happened really fast. He was really surprised, obviously, so we took a little time and caught up with him about a week later. Listen in. Mr. Davis, welcome to our podcast. Thanks for being here. I'm sure it's been a bit of a whirlwind. How are you feeling since the story aired?
It feels cool. It was definitely an interesting experience. And it was quite the day. I think the rest of the day, I was, definitely taken aback in a good way. It was just, it was a unexpected great day for sure.
And what's everybody been saying since it aired? I know that your daughter was there. She was kind of in the moment. I mean, what's been the feedback?
It's been all great. I shared, once the story aired, I shared it with my parents, and, they were super proud, and they're sharing it with all the family. And so they love seeing it. And then definitely all my coworkers around here have been, even now, a couple weeks later, that I still get, teachers in the hallway just, acknowledging that they,
School bell.
Yeah, school bell. Yeah. So his teachers still acknowledge and say, hey, congratulations and stuff. So, definitely feels really good.
Now that this is all a little bit behind you, you've had some time to think it over. Tell us your story. We didn't really get that out of you. You got it from other people, but tell me your story. How'd you get into teaching? I know that Josh said you were in music first. So give us some background.
So, I think from high school, I was always into the creative arts, and definitely video production was in there. I took all those media classes and everything in high school, and that was one career path I considered. And then, but I was also into music. My friends and I, got really into music, and I had a group of friends, and we were all learning how to play guitar and drums and stuff together. So I ended up pursuing music first out of high school. Was doing college part-time, but really focused on music and stuff like that, and playing in different bands, and did some touring around the country and stuff like that, all that good stuff. But then, when it came down to, thinking about the future and what kind of career I wanted, I had always also, like children, I used to work at a daycare too. While I was between being on the road, I'd come back home, and there's a daycare I'd work at and everything like that. So I always liked kids too, and kids always seemed to like me, and we always had cool interactions. So when it came to what do I want a degree in, I was like, I already am in a good place. I feel like artistically with what I can do, and I want to continue to, I guess, pursue that. But I felt like from an educational standpoint, what kind of a degree do I want? And I chose education, and I thought that would be a good fit for me as well. So then, I went to college at IUPUI. And then from there, let's see, where am I at? Let's see. I started teaching kindergarten was my first year teaching. I taught kindergarten.
Very cool.
I did that for a year, kind of jumped around for a couple of years. I did kindergarten for a year, and then I did fourth grade for a year. And then I landed at the Westfield Intermediate School for language arts for about 3 years. And then after doing that for the 3 years, there was an opening for the STEM teacher, like technology, STEM, Project Lead the Way. That was just kind of a new thing in our school district. And that's when I was really interested in that. And I think at that point, at the intermediate school, that's when things kind of shifted for me, because when I took that job as a STEM teacher, I moved from language arts to STEM. I also took on our school's video announcements. And that was always an interest of mine. And the person that was doing it before didn't want to do it anymore. So it was a good transition. I wanted to do the STEM and technology stuff, and I also wanted to take on announcements. And at that point, we weren't doing any student announcements. We were just doing kind of video slideshows each morning, which were fine. But I kind of wanted to do something a little more involved. So that's when I started the broadcasting club, like an after school club, and we had students come and record the daily announcements each afternoon before the next day. And so we did like a daily news show with kids, and nothing crazy, but it was still just getting the kids in front of the camera and letting them be seen, and giving them that audience too. We had about 1,300 kids in that school, and it's just kind of cool every morning to know that everyone's watching, what they're working on. And it's just kind of cool to be to create something on a bigger scale that, like, oh, you're making something for the entire school to watch. And so but I had that love and passion anyways for video and the arts. And so I think I always try to step it up. I'm like, oh, we could do this, but now let's do a bunch of other fun things. And so that's when I started making silly videos with the kids. And then I would do stuff on my own. And then we'd do like holiday specials. And then it just turned into this really cool thing of the, the staff and the students all like being willing to just be silly and just have fun and just make fun stuff for the school to see. And then, parents would see it too. And then the other people in the district would see it, all that good stuff. And then I guess I did STEM and the morning announcements for about 4 years. And then I felt like it went from a passion and a hobby to something I'm like, I really would like to do this full time. So, in that 4 to 5 years I was doing that, I was also doing freelance work. I started doing freelance photo and video just on the side. And I definitely knew that's where I wanted my career to go, is to do that a little more professionally. But I also still had a heart for education. And I love the relationships that, you build with the people you work with, the students. And so I started kind of pitching this idea to the leadership of like, we should have some sort of, dedicated, I guess, communications, media, marketing team. Most districts already have like some sort of communications department, a director of communications, but I was thinking, we should have more of a, someone like myself to really be able to focus, that has that skill set of photo and video, to really be able to go around and showcase, the students and the teachers more. And then along with that is, on the high school level, maybe we could bring in some other students and interns to work with us to, I guess, help continue to tell that story of the district, but also give them that experience to have that education element as well.
Yeah. So this Rocks Media House is pretty new to Westfield, but you in essence you were doing it, and then it kind of grew into this. And it sounds like you're bringing in the students now to learn this trade as well. I mean, I think back to when I was in high school, I did our high school show, and that's what got me sparked into news. So, I mean, you can really make an impact at that age with students by just giving them a platform, seems like. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what, we have our first couple interns. So like this trimester, actually. So it's new, and we're as anything with new, we're working out, figuring out what works, what doesn't work. And it's really cool though, because we have one intern in particular. He has all these ideas. So I think it's just really cool for him to come in here and be given the resources, like camera wise, but not only that, but then just me and my coworker Bailey, like, just having those, I guess, us having that skill set of being able to show him like, oh, here's something to think about. You could try this. And so he gets to come in, one of our interns, and he has some ideas that he wants to do himself. And we help him bring his, creative ideas to light as well. So it's really cool to see not only they help us, but then we also just get to help them realize, whatever they want to do.
You've clearly, as you were teaching, brought in these different unique creative aspects of your life, from guitar to video. Why do you think doing things like that improves the learning experience for kids?
Yeah, I think I think I said it in the newscast, but like, when I say like passion breeds passion, or I think it's just about if the students can see that you love what you're doing, then I think it's going to make the experience better. I think and I think that's how most of us would prefer to learn anyways. Like, even whether it's a class like math, and even if you don't like math, I would rather still learn math from someone who seems like they're happy to be there versus someone who's not. And so I think it was important for me to make sure that I found my joy and I could make myself as happy as possible in my class, because I feel like if it's kind of like you take care of yourself, then, the students are going to benefit from that. So I always try to, incorporate to the best of my ability things I was passionate about that would make me happy, because I think that if they see that passion from me, then, it'll inspire them. I guess worst case scenario, even if they hate my class, hopefully they enjoy taking it from me. And it's kind of funny, like one of the greatest compliments I've gotten, and I don't know if it's a compliment or not, but I've had kids say that, like, even when I taught language arts, they'll say things like, "This is my least favorite subject, but my favorite class," or something like that. When they say stuff like that, I'm like, and I guess that's still a win for me. I'm like, what, even if the subject matter isn't to your liking, if you have to be here, then I'm glad you're still enjoying yourself.
I think that is a huge compliment. It says a lot about you that they're enjoying the way that you're teaching them. And passion was really key throughout our story. Passion is what I kept hearing every student, your coworkers, everybody say. What do you think we can learn from that? Just maybe when it comes to passions and following passions.
I think that's I think sometimes it gets lost on adults. A lot of times I think we spend so much time making sure that our kids are like, follow your dreams, do your passions and stuff like that. But then I think somewhere along the way in adulthood, we tend to forget about ourselves and be like, we're still, we should be lifelong learners, and we should always have dreams and goals and ambitions, whether you're 15 or 95, like you should always still be, working towards something and have those dreams and ambitions. And I think so when it comes to passion, I would say, like, what I guess I learned for myself, or what advice I'd give to anybody, it's like, it's never, I guess it's like, it's never too late, and you're never too, like, there's no time that you can surpass to where it's no longer, I guess, relevant for you to pursue your dreams. And so, like, I guess that's where, 10 years into teaching, I've made a shift, and I have new goals and new passions every day. And I think that what we can learn from that is, whether you're a teacher or anything, make sure that you're finding passion in what you're doing, or, just really evaluate, like, where you are in life. And if, like, are you happy where you're at? Do you want to, are there any other dreams and ambitions that you want to realize? Because you should always be working towards that.
Yeah, I think it's a lesson to all adults, as you said there too. Don't let yourself burn out. Continue to grow, follow whatever is piquing your interest at that point, and tailor it into your job there. I thought what was really cool too was Gavin, I think it was, saying that you taught him guitar after school as well. So I think along with following your own passions, you were making these connections with kids, I guess really getting on their level. They just enjoyed being with you and learning from you, all aspects, it seems like.
Yeah, it's really cool to hear them say, because I did not teach Gavin specifically guitar, but I did teach a lot of guitar lessons after school with students and stuff like that. And so, I think it is really cool to think of it like that, like, if they enjoyed, that company and everything, that, it's definitely a huge compliment, and I really greatly appreciate that. Yeah.
What's your goal from here when it comes to Rox Media's house, and then when it comes to teaching kids and just kind of growing in the education sphere?
I think, one of the bigger goals that I have is, because I feel like something like this is rather unique for schools right now. I think that, like, I think right now we're at the point to where other schools might look in from the outside and think that it's not super, like, I don't know if they'd be super interested in it just yet, but I guess my goal, though, is for Rox Media House is to, I guess, establish ourselves as this is something that is new and innovative, and that education in general should consider adopting it, is of having some sort of dedicated team focusing on telling the stories of the schools in a higher quality and in a higher level way. So I'd like to, I guess one goal would be to have other school districts and stuff like that see our model and really want to adopt that. And maybe I'd like to see that, I guess, more present in education. I think that'd be really cool. And then for us, obviously just growing this program, like, having, right now we have a handful of students that are just kind of hearing about us by the work that we're doing. And it would be cool to, establish a better, have a bigger pool of candidates, I guess, to say that would want to work with us. I like to get to a point to where, like, it is one of those things where students will, will either sign up to do this or they have prerequisite classes they need to, to get to a certain level before they come to us. Because, I guess the way that we function is like, they kind of we want them to come in with a certain skill set so they can help us continue to tell the story. So I guess that's the interesting thing about Rocks Media House is, I guess we are, not only are we trying to educate students, but we're also trying to provide a service at a professional level. So we always want to make sure that, the students have that skill set. So, a goal is to just grow this program, have more interns that are at that level, and then just to grow it to a point to where other school districts would like to learn from us and adopt that model.
It's almost like eventually it'd be that you take your broadcast class first and do maybe your school TV show, and then you can advance to be in almost this career center role of a full functioning job that you're honing in those skills even more, but you're really kind of doing a job for the district at the same time as learning. And you're a student. So it is a cool vision. I think it also relates to the fact too that sometimes kids are better at this stuff than us. Like,
exactly. Yes.
I consider myself a pretty good editor, but then when I look at TikTok, I'm like, this is a new thing for me. And so it seems like you're honing in what kids are good at and kind of meshing it all together.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's I think that's a good point too when you bring up like social media, like TikToks, and these kids are, and I think a lot of people are very, even myself when I first heard of this, as a someone who's been in the video world, you kind of look at that stuff like, what is that? Like, sometimes you question it, like, is it a cheat? Is it not? But then, I think that I think our world is changing, and especially in the digital world. And I think as professionals, we have to start seeing platforms like TikTok and Instagram, like all these social medias as, a huge asset and definitely something that we need to, integrate into our world, and not just try to push it off and say, no, this is something that is just for fun, because I think it's just so prevalent and it's only going to, it might evolve. Now, TikTok might not be here in 10 years, but something else will. And I think that us embracing that and embracing what the kids are interested in, and, I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think it's almost that cohesive, like we need to be learning, listening from our students, and then they can learn and listen from us at the same time. And I think of that when I think of 10 years ago, was it maybe like Snapchat was really big, and then that's not as much, it's ever changing, but how we can teach them the skills we know, but then learn from them at the same time. It seems like that's where the future is going.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting too. I always think it's funny too. When I was student, I remember just how much education has changed in the 10 years I've been in it. Because when I was student teaching, I remember like in the school district that I was student teaching in, like administration was big on like, you better never be on social media. And they were telling teachers, don't be on social media here. Don't do that. And now 10 years later, they're like, hey, make sure you have a school Instagram, or make sure you have a school class. It's just funny
to connect with the kids.
Yeah, 10 years ago, they were like, keep that away from the schools. And now 10 years later, we're like already trying to be like, let's have class social media pages and everything like that. And I think it's just cool to see how that's changed.
Is there anything else that you wanted to let us all know about that maybe I haven't asked you about, just to get to know you a little more?
I think one thing that I think that everyone already knows it probably from if they've watched the news story and stuff, but definitely the video, the photo stuff is just a passion of mine. And, whether it's in school, even when I'm not at school, I make my own videos and I do that. And I think that's important for anybody whenever they're I guess, again, finding that joy in life, finding that happiness. It's I feel very, I guess, blessed and lucky to be able to come to work to do what I love, because even when I go home, I'm still doing it because I love it so much. And so it's really cool to have just that in my life right now. And I'm super thankful for that, to be able to do something that I'm so passionate about.
I think it's cool to look at you and see how you took your role as an educator and really turned it into the job that you love, the career that you love.
Yeah. And I think that, I'm glad that you said that, because it also brings up too, for our school district too, like Westfield Washington Schools. I think it speaks volume about them. At least I have a huge appreciation for them, because I think that they saw, from early on, they saw that passion in me. And I think that, they saw a passion in me, and they saw a way that the district could still benefit from it. And, so I'm very thankful for them for being, I guess, that forward thinking and innovative enough to create a role like this, for someone like me and my coworker Bailey to really fulfill and to do something truly different, I think. So.
Well, Sean, thank you for letting us tell your story and for surprising you and for chatting today.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Thank you.
From Wish TV, I'm Hannah Mordeau. We're going to continue honoring teachers here in Central Indiana who go above and beyond to make a difference in children's lives. If you know a teacher who deserves recognition, please tell us about them. Nominate them for the Golden Apple Award. It's so easy to do. Just send in a detailed nomination to wishtv.com/goldenapple and listen for the next winner right here on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The Wish TV Golden Apple Awards podcast. Nominate a teacher and learn more at wishtv.com now. Be sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast and discover even more great podcasts now on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.